Hello. Let me just get things right real quick. Each time I have to redo this all the time. Mic check. Mic check. Hello. Alrighty. How are things going? Just getting the chat open here real quick. There we go. Okay. We are back. And we are in a red zone. Let's go to Bitcoin. 3 days. Hello, Karma. First of all, let's remove all of the alerts. And this as well. Okay. Da, 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 da. Open link. There you go. Nah. Copy. Copy. All right, guys, before I'm going to start on the TAs, let's first have a moment to advertise what we have going on right now. We have a campaign for, well, until July 11th, where whenever you sign up with the right email, with the link down below, you have a chance on earning or getting 400 USDT for free when depositing $2,000 with the link below on BitUnix. BitUnix is an exchange where we trade on. You have like Binance, Bybit. However, I prefer BitUnix. This is until July the 11th. And whenever you're trading with leverage, you're also building up volume. And whenever you're trading, you can also earn up to 2,000 USDT by just trading. So you can earn 400 USDT for basically depositing the money. And you can even earn more, up to 2,000 USDT dollars to trade it. Okay? It is down in the below, the first link, where you also see the claim your bonus. Then down below we have the exchange, so it's the referral link to BitUnix itself, and the website, and of course the Discord, which is totally for free right now. In the Discord, I'm also sharing my TAs. That was until the 18th. I'm going to extend it towards 25 of June, basically because that's my birthday, and from there we'll see how it goes, okay? So the Discord is still free, the TAs are still free until June 25. Okay. My beard is touching the microphone, hold on. Hello, Ferdus. Summoning Dave. Yeah, Dave, where are you? Let's tag Dave real quick. Dave. Dave. Ferdus is summoning you. You will come. And otherwise you will watch it back later. Okay, let's check the daily, the 3-day on Bitcoin. We are still following the pattern that we are wanting to see. Let's remove... No, I think let's dive into the daily first, okay? So we're gonna leave that one open. This is a 1 hour gap, which I will talk about as well. Okay, So last stream was it was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday, where price was pushing through the important level, and I said that we needed to close that price over here in order to gain a bit of more continuation, okay? Because what we wanted was for the gap to be closed and to take a short. However, this level, so this closed gap that was before, became important. So this basically became this. And as you can see, it hit that price perfectly, like stipped, maybe $1 or $2 above. Okay. That was the line that we had as marked as important, and right after the stream, price just dumped to the ground, and everyone was in panic, basically. Is the sound good, by the way? If not, let me know. So what we wanted to see from Bitcoin is to continue the downtrend that it was having. It's still following the downtrend, don't get me wrong. But right now we are at a questioning point of view, like at the questioning price action. Why? Because we are still, like, we have been dumped through the gap, didn't close it. Then we touched it the next day, didn't close it. From here we pushed up, and then we had that big dump, okay, on Tuesday, where we hit below the 1-day gap. Wednesday we hit below the 1-day gap, and today we hit below the 1-day gap as well. However, all of the days we closed above the gap. So what I want to see now, we will either push through, we need to push through to create that lower low, or we're going to close it here on the gap to create that higher high, which we have right now. The higher low, which is right here at the moment. And then we push up again, because we didn't close any gaps on the top, okay? So we either close today here, push up to create a higher high based on this, possibly reaching up towards the 108,900 again, or maybe even the level above. Because what might happen, and that happened here as well, where we had this trend line going, price dumped down, hit that level, pushed right back up. And that's what we want on the opposite now. So we want price to shoot through the trend line, hit our entry, make a reversal, get confirmation, and then we dump. That's what I want to see personally, because if we zoom out on the 3-day trend line, and you will understand what I mean right now. First of all, let's remove all of the levels real quick. There we go. Oh, I have another one. Level. Let's add it to the levels. There we go. Okay, so these are all the gaps that we're having open right now, okay? We have the trend line going, where we are having the lower, the higher highs, the lower, and the higher lows, sorry. And like I said before, we have the momentum has been reduced by a bunch when creating that all-time high here. And now we basically need to retrace in my eyes, okay? So what we need to do right now is to push that price down, either hitting this gap on 94 or even 85 before we can continue going up again. Because as you can see, we have to retest that level in my point of view. We have been pushing up, retesting the trend line, pushing up, retesting the trend line. And we need to have the same situation again. So push up, retest, push up. And with this, you keep creating the higher highs and the higher lows. That's what we need from Bitcoin now as well. Over here, it created a big double top pattern in my eyes. Here we have this big double bottom pattern on the 3 days. And what we are seeing right now on the 3 day here as well, also some kind of a double top pattern. So we have to either close and push that price down in order for this trend to follow down, okay? However, looking at the previous days, we could still have a spike up and then down. So you create that triple top or the head and shoulders in a different way, okay? I wish to see it push one more time, so our entry is on the very top. And otherwise, if we are going to create that lower low on the daily, so if we are going to create that lower low, I am going to look for a short entry over here, probably where a new gap has been begun, okay? And I wish to see it over here or over here, basically because I don't count on wicks, and on the previous TAs we have seen that the daily gaps really, the daily and the 1 hour gap really matters. So that's my point of view on Bitcoin, okay? So I wish to see that double bottom. Whoa. I wish to see that lower low happening. However, I also wish to see some sort of a retest up. And as of right now, in the last hour, we had that push up. Right now we are a bit, let's dive into 4 hours maybe? No, not nice. 2 hours. We have been touching this level multiple times now. And you can see whatever you want to see inside of it. I was seeing a double bottom from here. However, we didn't create that higher high, which I wanted. Because then you could have that higher high, retest, entry over here, and then, you know, price continuation up. However, it didn't happen. So we didn't create that higher high yet. So right now we are having a trend line going. And I think I can make that trend line better on the hourly. Yeah, there we go. So on the hourly, we have this trend line going, but also from over here now again. And yeah, these trend lines, they're not the best and they're not perfect at all. Even if we are going to zoom into the, where have I seen it? 12 hours? Yeah, so even on the 12 hours, we have a new trend line happening from point A to point B. You see? And with this, like both trend lines combined, let's remove these two real quick. So these two trend lines combined create that symmetrical triangle where you have a sell wall over here and you have a buy wall over here. So we either break through that trend line, push up, or break through this trend line and push down. That's basically what we kind of want to see happening. And it's not like a daily push, I think. I hope for it to be some sort of a good wick. I hope. But we'll see about that, okay? So we need to be aware of this happening now as well. And let's keep this trend line going, okay? We might even have to shift it down a bit. Nah. Let's keep it here. Okay. That's it for Bitcoin. I still have this one going because if we want price to push up, we need to create that higher high again, and then we need to break this structure to create a higher high above this previous high. However, that's not happening yet. So far, we are in this downtrend. Higher low, higher high, lower high, another lower high. We have the lower low, and now we have this higher low. Okay. So right now we are tracing back, but also from here, which means that we are going to have that compression happening now in between these two lines. So let's dive into the 1 day gaps real quick. So we have this, we have a 1 hour gap, in fact. Okay, so this 1 hour gap has been closed, where it created that higher high. And then, yeah, so this might have been a level if we open up the level menu again. Not a level, however, I'm seeing some sort of a level here as well. Over here, what do we have here? This top one can be removed. Yeah, as you can see, so we have this trend line going, but we also have this level area happening over here. So there's a big buy wall there. And as you see now as well on the hourly, so this gap which has been created Saturday 31 of May still has that meaning. So it created some sort of a new level having that gap. So it's still having that response from it. That's why here we have this wick touching it very nicely. So having that gap open and a wick testing that again, we could have seen that this might still be valid. Same here, same here, same here. So we have that touch 4 times now. And now we created a higher low based on the hourly over here. So what we need to see from Bitcoin now, hello Dave. What we need to see from Bitcoin now is to create that higher high over here in order to break that structure down, because we're still having this. Right now we still have this trend line. Okay. So we need to make sure that price pushes through, makes a close above, retest, hopefully on this level or some sort of a, yeah. Let's say that this level, and then price to continue back up. That's what we want to see. For Ethereum, we are still back in the range. So we pushed out like last time, like Monday, I said it as well. Where is it? Monday. Monday we had this big push as well. But we haven't closed any yet. Okay, yeah, we closed an hourly wick. So I was in this trade from over here. I was in a long position from over here. And my main focus was to hit that target. And then I took off 50 or 75%. And then over here, I had to go away. So I moved up my stop loss, basically dragged it with it. And yeah, then got stopped out. And after seeing this, I'm glad that I did. Okay, so this one has been closed. Let's move it over there to the new one. We have this hourly one over here. And let's add one more. So we have 3 hourly gaps happening at the moment. As you can see, this one. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. On the hourly, this one has been closed. If we dive in closer, like a bit more in detail, you see the 50-minute is a bit higher. However, then we have this here open. Not convinced by that one. Let's dive a bit deeper into the 3-minute. So let's drag this line into a 3-minute. Can we make it a bit better? So if we were taking this long and we zoomed in, so we had that daily gap, we had the 1 hour gap, the 50-minute gap, which is, well, the 50-minute wasn't that clear, okay? Was a bit higher than the 1 hour gap. And then we dived into detail, where we dived into the 3-minute. And it perfectly hit that entry 3 times so far with wicks. Where looking back at the entry, we could have had that trade taken from over here. And this is looking into very much detail, like zooming in on 3-minute. I'm gonna watch the other ones, so XAC, Fortcoin, and BCH in a minute. But that was the perfect setup if you're going to take a trade like this. Start from the day, zoom in on the hour, then the 50-minute, and then the 3-minute, and see if there's any gap open which has the potential of flipping. Okay? So over here there's no gap, only here, but that's not really valid. Then you have that 1 day, I mean the 1 hour, which is lower. So you're going to look a bit lower, and this 3-minute perfectly hit over there. Okay, heading back to the daily. Let's see, XAC. Was it this one? Or I didn't saved it last time, I think. Yeah, okay. How are we looking on XAC? Excuse me. Not so good. We had this daily gap on Monday. Okay. Where we needed to see response. And we didn't really see that much response, did it? We had a wick up, and then it continued down. It closed below. So that green path is basically gone for now. And now we're going to look into more detail. So the only gap down below is this so far on the daily, okay? If you're going to zoom in on the hourly, let me zoom in to the left. Just going to drag this one over here now, 1 hour. Then we have another one over here. And then we'll keep the rest there. Have we seen any response on the hourly? A bit, I'll say. And then on the hourly, you have a trend line happening. Where it is about to play with it. It's not a big candle close up, and it also didn't close above, so this could be a fake out heading for the lows again, where you have this line happening. Okay, let's remove this this text real quick. So you have these two lines happening there. Not a perfect response. Let's zoom into the 15 and check more to the left. Are we looking at some sort of a level then? We are. Level. Let's check on the right. So it had trouble pushing that level, especially over here. And it touched it a couple times again over here, until we smacked through with that trend line happening. Okay. Trend line, drag it down. Okay. So over here now as well, this is a bit zoomed in, okay? Which is why these candles are a bit weird. However, it broke through that line, but it didn't make that lower low, which means that this is not a valid break of trend. It is a trend line breakout whenever it closes below these ones. Not just this one, but these ones. because that didn't happen, so we had a peak through, people were going into the short and then eventually get liquidated, probably over here. So for exec, zooming out on the 1 hour, you have this trend line happening now. I don't think this is a breakout yet, unless it closes above over here. So let's drag a line, call it important, and make sure it doesn't, and make sure that it has to break. Well, let's drag it towards the close ones, okay? So it needs to close above here. If you're still watching and you're new, make sure to subscribe towards me for more of these live streams, and make sure to press the like, the leak button. But yeah, daily wise, if we're going to look at it daily wise, we might see a response happening if it breaks over here now. But then that's based on the level happening and this trend line being broken. So let it break above, hit that 1 hour gap again, continuation up, and then it has to break this trend line. And then it has to make that higher high over here. Then it has to retrace down. Then it needs to make another higher high. And this is how you basically look at it, okay? We had Fartcoin. Big dumpy dump. I've said this, like even Monday as well. Monday stream price went up, where it was playing with the trend line. We had another trend line. Okay, so we had this trend line, okay, on this on the Fartcoin, where it broke through. Had a perfectly, so it broke through, retest. So this was your short position, broke through again, retest, which took it a bit higher, in fact. So first it closed this one here, closed, and then it closed this one here. So both positions perfectly to take that short. Okay. And if you were taking the short over here and your goal was to exit on this neckline, then your target would have been hit. If you were focusing on the gap, it wasn't hit yet because it didn't create that lower low again. So it reversed over here. Then it created this new trend line happening from this point. Extended, you have the second point and the third point. Third point has been hit as well. So 1, 2, 3. Over here, it kept making the higher highs. Sorry, the higher highs and the higher lows until it broke down again. And now it's trembling down exactly towards the 1 day gap that I drew earlier. So this 1 day gap has been hit perfectly today. Was it today? It was today, yeah. So let's remove these ugly drawings there. Remove this trend line. So what we had originally planned, this trend line on the daily has been broken. Retest has been happening. Eventually, let's remove this. Don't need it. Eventually, price continues down. So what do we need to see from Fartcoin now? Exactly this arrow. We need to close below the low. So this is which is important to break down to create that new lower low. So let's move that one there, this one there. We need to make this new lower low, then a retest. Let's see, so This 1 day gap can be removed. So Jesus. The 1 day gap can be removed. This can be lowered. Okay, so we're gonna keep this one open because it went there with a wick, might still have some use in the future. Okay. New gap has been created. This one is about to be closed. And we need to see that lower low happening. Yeah. So compared to Bitcoin, this is nothing like Bitcoin. Let's compare it one more time. It's a bit similar to Bitcoin. A bit. So we need to see the same reaction happening with Bitcoin as of Fartcoin. However, Fartcoin does it a bit more clearer, if you know what I mean. Okay, so this is what we are looking for still. This can be removed. And yeah, from here, I'm looking for that possibly long entry again. Okay, where this could be from use. Then we had the last one, BCH, which is doing exactly what we need right now. Let's remove this. So on Monday, Monday we were here, this candle, where we had the 1 hour chart open, where Monday, 8 o'clock. Wow. Oh, okay, I think we started here. It has been hit perfectly there. So what happened here is we creating these higher highs, lows, lows, and we created this new 1 hour gap in here. Like, Fart is market structure, basically. So it hitting that 1 hour gap in here would have been a perfect entry. And I'll just zoom in on the 50-minute. So the 50-minute didn't got hit. It didn't, but the hourly did. So this is why I wish to trade a bit more on the hourly, because if we zoom in further on the 3-minute, we would have been missing it. Okay. Here, I'll show you real quick. So coins like this, you really need to see it from the outside. And you could trade like this, like I'm taking 50% on the trade over here for a possibly reversal, and another 50% over here. So you have your double entry, and your entry, like your overall entry, would be in the middle. Okay, this is how you could do it. I know some people, they go in with a small marching whenever they see that response happening. So right now it has been hit, created a higher low, so they have their confirmation, price is pushing back up again, where they could add some more marching. This is how you could also be trading. And there's many, trust me, there are many ways to trade, and I keep repeating it every time in the stream. Like there's so many ways to trade on coins like this, but in general on Bitcoin, crypto itself. If you took this long from the hourly, which I marked out last Monday, you could have been up to 8.8% now. And if you didn't, like me, then you made nothing. Basically. Okay, so that hourly has been hit very nicely. Now, for today's job on the BCH, which stands for Bitcoin Cash, we have to close above. We are pushing through right now, so this drawing is still being is still valid, if you ask me. Just going to remove it. We need to close today's chart, today's candle. So we have 5.5 hours to close above the important level here. If not, so if we won't be closing above, and right now it's not showing a reversal or anything. There's no sign of a reversal yet. Let's zoom a bit to the left. This is the high on the hourly. It hasn't been reached yet on the hourly, but the daily it has. So it's still the question if it will be hitting it. So this is the gap that it has originally next to the important one. Important one has been breached. The other 1 hour gap. So this is the 1 hour gap. Well, that other one is the important level which it needs to break. This 1 hour gap has been hit. Nice. Nice. You know what I mean? Okay. Can we... Hello? I am not getting the info. Info, okay. What's this? Sorry, guys. You could sponsor me and I will buy the TradingView Premium. But I basically wanted to check on how the 15-minute candle was over there. But that's fine. Okay. It did hit the 1 hour, so this could have been a reversal at the moment where you could have been entered short. So a possible short, and then that close above, stop loss above, which is 1%. Because just like Bitcoin, price is moving in a trend line, okay? So this is a trend line which a price will be following. Right now it has been pushing up. We need to get down, push up further. So possible short setup over here. We might still in the next couple of hours. What we really wish to see, if it's not closing above on the daily, is this kind of pattern where it's going to push up one more time into our hit zone to enter the short, and then our original target will be this 1 day gap. Let's zoom out. Keep in mind that this could play out like this, which means that on Friday 27th it will take you a week for price to be hitting your goal. If it does hit your goal, you're looking at a 5%, 5 to 6%. Okay. I am not going to close this one off yet, this gap, because we haven't closed today's candle. It could just do the same like last time, where price push up and it was showing really good news for us, and then eventually it all became a very nice wick. And this drawing was straight as hell. Okay. Yeah, so this is a possibly short. However, keep in mind, tight stop loss there. Make sure it doesn't push up further. Okay. So if you're in the short, GG. If not, keep in mind that it might still be going to push because we want it to close above for continuation to the upside. If we do see continuation up to the upside, where is our final destination. So we have this trend line happening. Yes, we broke, but didn't exactly, so we continue back up. Even hit that gap with that wick. Yeah, we basically need to close above, retest over here, go towards our next point, and over here we could be seeing that reversal what we want for a possibly short to break this trend line. And also in mind that we have this trend line as well. Okay, so it's still in a downtrend, and it's just moving upwards. And this is the same like we had on ADA.
ADA.
From here. Basically, literally the same pattern, okay? So it has been, it has the higher low, lower highs, and the lower lows over here. We were looking for the long over here. So this was a very nice long position, where eventually we had that this pattern happening, like the head and shoulders happening. But I didn't like these wicks. I spoke about them earlier. But this was a nice entry for the long, and eventually we were looking for that reversal. Yes, we had some good reversal moments over here, but that was Monday. Monday was pump and dump. And now we are sitting on Thursday, my bad, and we are going to hit that 1 day gap over here on ADA, which is a potential long position. Okay, and with that I mean, let's move it over because we had this already sitting there on the desk. I prefer having it over here, but since this is ADA, I prefer having it over here. And yes, this is a big march, a big percent of a stop loss. So play with it how you want it. Let's we can keep that. Originally target is still to break this trend line, and obviously we will hit it over here and then continue back up. Target will be 1.1, but we still need that confirmation. Don't buy it right away because we are having the downtrend curve. With a possible new downtrend happening. Let's see if we have some more open hourly candles. I mean open gaps. And over here we have a perfect gap open on the 1 hour, which can give some sort of a reaction. Not erection, erection. Reaction. Sorry. 1 hour gap. Oh. 1 hour gap. Move it over to the right side, where yes, we had that response on. Where's my drawing? There. We had that response on the hourly twice. Twice. You guys still following? If not, let me know and I will explain things a bit clearer. So yeah, this is a potential long position. Wait for that confirmation. If not, price will continue going down. Oh crap, what did I do? Price might continue going down, hitting the hourly gap again, or even hitting that new hourly gap, which hasn't been hit yet, for that reversal. So this is what we want, and then we need to see that trend line being broken from over here. Okay? Nice ADA. Near. I was in this short and I stepped out of it. I am. ADA is tricky, yes. I agree with ADA is tricky. If you can earn your money with it, then yes, it is nice for you. But yeah, it could also cost you a bunch. For ARA, we broke this trend line on Monday. This is Monday pump and dump. And basically it's a continuation for the dump here, because it already closed below here, okay? So this was important at the beginning. So let's remove this. This was this is near, by the way, sorry. But this will be a continuation down until we might get a bounce from over here. But it will continue down because you had that Monday pump. That's good. But we had that close below. So we knew eventually the price would continue down. Okay, because we created that lower low over here. Yes, we created the higher high based on this, but then we created the new lower low. So this was a possible retracement to close this gap and then continuation down. That was possible, yes. But it hit that level and then it continued back down. So as of right now, it went through the wicks. We have this 1 day gap. Let's zoom in on near. Let's remove these. Funny. Sorry. Okay, so we have we are sitting on a 1 hour now. We'll see the response of that in a minute. Let's make this red. Dark red, obviously. 1 hour and 1 hour. Okay. Let's see how price is going. So this 1 hour has been hit multiple times over here, where it had that retracement on the 1 hour. This was Monday pump day. Monday pump day, it hit, got back up. But obviously it wasn't strong enough. We're going to remove this. However, it is working out nicely as a level at the moment. So let's make it a level. Trace down to the right again. So yeah, we are sitting on a level at the moment on near. And what we need to see from near now is still continuation down until we see that reversal happening. If we don't see it happening, we have a backup. And if we don't see that happening, we have our final backups over here. What is this? Another 1 day gap. Okay, so we have 3 new levels creating. With this as well, keep in mind, yes, we had that higher low happening, but it could still doing the same and continue down and create that new lower low. I want to dive in Ripple. Ripple is looking very, very bullish. Ripple is looking bullish in my eyes. And why I'm going to explain it towards you. We have this trend line happening, which broke, retested on this gap and this gap. So it first had the first response, then the second response, and it broke that new trend line now as well. Okay, so over here on the daily, we had a first response. Okay, first response, we hit that level, we didn't push through, which means price is going to reverse back on us. It's going to retest this gap or the previous gap, which is this one, which it did, broke through. Okay, trend line is broken. We're going to look for a retest. where this is a hourly gap, which has hit perfectly there. And right now, what we need to see happening, this was Monday pump and dump. If Monday closed above, then we had a retrace continuation. It didn't. So we need to see that bounce happening from this level and the gap on the daily at the same time. So this is why I'm still bullish on it. We have a gap and the level combined, which could really make that reverse up. This was my example, explaining towards someone else. Another way on trading, okay? So you could be trading with leverages. So my goal is to make $100. My goal is to reach 2% each trade. My goal is to get a risk to reward. It's the RR of 1.3, 1.2. That's all fine. But there's more ways. And I've been trading this multiple ways in the past, where you're saying, okay, I'm depending my entry. So this 1 hour gap. See this 1 hour gap perfectly hit. I want this 1 hour gap and I want to risk $50. Okay. So this is my setup. I think, okay, this daily, this gap has been hit nicely with some wicks on the hour. First hour had a response, second hour, third hour. You know what? We have a nice response. Let's see if it hits one more time. Where we can say, okay, I am going to risk $50. Okay, I'm going to risk $50. Combine this with the fact that we broke out already, retracing, retesting. So my risk is $50 here, okay? On this setup. Where I lowered, let's push it down here, because it was something with 8. Something with 8.8, something like that. Risk to reward. My original target will be over here. This gap. That's my target, okay? And it might just do this, retrace, and then continuation up, and then hit it. However, because we are risking only $50 here, so if the stop loss is being hit, we're losing $50. And this is roughly as a sketch, because if it hit that stop loss and closes over here, it will take a bit more than $50. Don't get me wrong. However, if it's going to hit this target now, instead of getting a bit, instead of, you know, doing a leverage of times 10, where we are risking 24% of our marching, we can now earn 200%. That's with the times 10 leverage. With this, is pure based on the risk that you want to take on this trade. So I'm risking $50 on this trade. And if I'm going to any exchange, you can fill in the quantity that you need to buy in order for the price to be 50. And there's a calculation for it, which I have been testing on. However, there's also, this is the wrong one, my bad. There's also an indicator, this one, position calculator, which you drag entry, TP, stop loss. Okay, so I'm going to risk $50 on this trade. Apply. Can I drag this? No, I cannot, sorry. So my risk is $50. And it calculated that I need to buy 956 quantity. So 956 coins of Ripple. Which is calculator 956 times what is the price at that moment. Entry price is 2.0, 2.1, okay? That originally marching is now $2,000 that I need to buy. So if I'm going to add a leverage of times 10, it's going to cost me $200. If I'm going to use a leverage of 20, it's going to cost me $100. So then it's literally risking still $50, but because I'm higher in leverage, keep in mind you're going to pay for fees using higher leverage. So this quantity calculation doesn't mean that you need $2,000. No, it means that you can play with leverage, depending pure on this, because your risk is still $50. That's a strategy that I have been using a while ago. Now I haven't really. Now I'm basically making swing trades, looking on how price is happening, on price is going from the 1 day point of view. And then I'm zooming in. Okay, is there a way for me to catch a trade? And simply, like, we had this daily trend line happening. We broke out, retesting. On the hourly, we had that response. Is there a way for me to enter? Yes, there is on the 1 hour, so I can trade along this pattern, trade along this moment. Oh. So let's see, basically from this to there is already like 10.8%. And then it's just one gap till the top gap. It's that easy. Is there another coin that you guys want me to look into? Let's see how Bitcoin is doing, by the way, in the meanwhile. See, it's not helping us today. It is still accepting the trend line that it's having. I'm going to look into ZBCN real quick. Oof. Not looking good. Let's remove these real quick. This coin is moving sideways for the whole day already. Like since yesterday even. Because on this coin as well, we have this trend line, okay? 1 hour, sorry. Alright. We had this trend line happening where like first of all, we broke this trend line, okay? We broke this trend line, so we are going to go down, obviously. However, I want to see a retest happening to that trend line. Just like we had with Bitcoin, okay? Just like with Bitcoin, we had that. It took us a while for Bitcoin to eventually give us that retest that we wanted for days. And I think this will be the same. So we had this downward trend going now, where it had these lower lows, lower highs, and then it broke. So it broke the trend that we had happening over here, where you have this new trend line, something like that. However, we broke through here, and from here it closed that 1 hour candle gap over here perfectly. And then we needed to see that bounce. We need to see that retest happening. And on the hourly, we have seen it. Again, just like Ripple, 1 hour has been hit. There hasn't been a lower low. And if you look at it from there, no lower low has been made. So it has been following the trend. Yes, based on this. Okay. Oh. So right now, this is still holding up. Don't get me wrong. However, it's too much going sideways. This is the coin that basically does a reversal of Bitcoin. Whenever Bitcoin was green, this coin was in red, and the other way around, basically. So I needed that. So just like we had on Bitcoin and Ripple, breakout happening, give us that retest before we can continuation up. Newmeers, thank you for the subscription. You know what I mean. I haven't heard that sound in a while, so got a bit confused basically. But yeah. Nemirs? Nemirs, if you have a coin that you have to on request, make sure to just drop it down below in the comments, and I will go over it basically for you, all for free. It is so warm in here. It's currently 30.2 degrees. Is it Celsius? It's hot. Okay, I'm sweating. I want a couple more coins. Dave, Virtus, feel free to drop any. I want to check on TA, by the way. TA is just a mess. I've seen so many good news on TA, and can you look at Sol? Yeah, I can. Let me first dive into TIA real quick. So TIA was a good coin to trade with, trade on. But I said from over here, I told everyone that was communicating with me, it's Celsius, thank you Dave, that don't trade this coin, because the only data that we have on this coin is over here. There's no data. There's no data. So here we had data, okay? From here we could have been pushing up. We had this trend line, we broke it, retest, didn't continue, okay? However, this was possible back here until it went down and it created these two lines, these two highs, which created a trend line, and since then it has been following that trend line. And I always tell everyone, okay, wait for that response before you enter any trade in a long. And especially for people like spot traders, they see that this coin is at its very lowest and it came over here. So yeah, it has to get a response from over here. No, it won't. Not always. Okay, so if you are in TIA, rip and hope for price to continue back up. If you are in TIA, make sure to draw this line for yourself. Okay, especially if you're in a spot trade on TIA, this trend line needs to be broken before any continuation up. If not, don't trade it. Also, don't short it, because yeah, you can say like, yeah, but if I go short now, price will continue going down. There's no data, so don't go short. You wanted me to look at Solano. Is it Solano or Solana? That's fine. Oof. Big oof. It missed there. Okay. Let's check the 3 days first. Let's remove this. In fact, let's remove all. Remove wrong. I'm going to do this on scratch, okay? So on the 3 days, we are looking at newer highs. So we have this high and we have this high where we created this new all-time high, okay? So let's drop that down, get away. So this, do we have the all-time high? No, we don't. Okay. Light blue, text, light blue at all-time high. We're going to save it as a template, save as all-time high. Save. Now every time I'm going to use this, I can just right click all-time high and it will drag it over here. However, I don't like it over there, so we're going to change it to the center or the left. Center or the left? You guys call it. Center or the left? The right. I'll put center now. Sorry. Let's keep it on the right. So what happened with Solana? Is it Solana or Solano? So we had this, yeah, on the right, okay. So we had this trend happening from over here, where it went straight up, basically a bit too high. And then it broke, and it got retested, made a new higher high with a wick. Not on, yeah, okay. Okay. So why this trend continued up is based on a couple things. So over here, it created this, let's make this into the trend line. Okay, and this into the direct line. So over here, it created this lower low. Okay, so with nice break of the trend, retest over here or over here. Nice. However, it had a liquidity sweep because it went over here. So yes, some sort of a higher high, but also a lower high. Okay, so the close candle was a lower high, depending on this 3-day. How was the 1-day looking? Same situation, okay? So even on the even on the 1-day. So we broke, got back in, retest, didn't close any gap. Then we broke fully, retest happening, closed below, and then the price went sideways a bit, and then it created this error over here and a new trend line going up. Okay, this is just messy, if you ask me right now. If you're going to drag the lines to the most current ones, basically this, we had perfectly retestings on trend line. We had this big trend line happening, a retest happening, so trend breakout retest from a day. I think if we are going to zoom a bit further in here, we might understand why. Now looking at this, I am seeing a level. No, okay, I'm gonna have to do it like this. So based on this, we are seeing a level happening where price has been hitting it over here and here. Then we had a response over here, response over here, response over here. Same over here, over here. So this is a hard level to focus on. So because the history with the prices over here, it even was a perfect short moment over here, because we knew price is breaking out. So we're going to get a retest either on the level or on the daily gap. And this is a daily gap where you have a big impulse down or a big impulse up. So this is your gap. And why is it a gap? A gap always wants to be closed like this. So we have a big gap downwards. This gap that it's been making now wants to be closed in the future. Okay. And that has been happening over here, for example. So you had a big impulse up, and eventually price wants to close that gap. It failed over here because of the level. Same over here because of the level. Same over here because of the level. And then it broke through. It hit that gap with a wick. Then it was fighting that level over here, failed, and continued down. This is how I trade on the gaps, because these gaps are just a nice way for you to set your target with. You're not going into a long over here. and see, yeah, I think price will go over here. Yeah, let's say price will go over here, and that's my target. No, price won't go over there. Price has a chance to hit this target over here because it's a gap. Okay, so don't get in any trade blindly. Now if we are looking at Solana, we all know that Solana basically responds the same as Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes down, Solana goes down, and the other way around. However, still each coin replies differently, because if Bitcoin has a push like this, altcoins have a push like this. Not always, mostly. Let's drag and add the daily gaps. Copy, paste. We have another one over here. Copy, paste. One over here. Let's put it a bit more down. Paste. Here. So these are the gaps that are open based on this area. If we are going to look a bit further, you see that on this daily gap has been hit so perfectly that it closed. So this gap could have been a target for you for a short. And yes, you could have been shorting it from over here. As soon as you saw it making that lower low, depending on this, and it breaking that level, you could open the short from this wick or that retest, and your original target would have been that daily gap. This is how you set your targets. We have another gap still open over here. And some, let's put it in the middle, over there, okay? Yeah. If we are going to dive in a bit further, we see that right now it has been making, it has closed this gap on the daily. If we are going to zoom in on the hourly and look at the price, we see, I'm just going to drag it down, so nothing happening on the right. It had that 1 hour gap. If we're going to dive in a bit further, 15 minutes, we can drag it down a little bit, because based on the 50-minute, combine it with the 1 hour and the daily, you can call this a gap. That's basically it. If we're going to dive into the 3 minutes, hopefully we can check it back. No, sorry guys, we can't. So on the 50-minute, it was the gap was earlier. However, on the 1 hour gap, perfectly has been hitting it. So this was a nice target for you to close that short. Or take MTP, whatever you want, basically. However, it had that response, which means that whenever it has the response, and don't get in immediately, obviously, look for a retracement. Do we have confirmation? Well, this confirmation is straight away happening, so you could have entered your long after seeing it response and retesting a bit. You want to see it retest over here, basically, to close that gap and continuation up. But it's alright to sometimes play along with a bit more, like a bit lower stop loss, and with less marching, less leverage, and then to add marching whenever price will continue going up. Okay. Okay, but Namir's question was, can you look at Sol? What are we needing from Sol right now? I'm going to drag this gap along. We are going to look in the daily first. So this we're going to remove real quick. The daily over here we didn't had a close below yet. So closing below this is important, because if we close below, we are going to retest the gap and continuation down. So it might even push down, get a bounce from here, go over here, and then we need to see it creating a higher high. And if it doesn't, price will continue down towards the next gap. Okay. And based on this happening right now, so we zoomed out, we had this trend line, breakout, retest, continuation. That's what we are looking for. So right now it is very important for this price to follow the market structure. The market structure is breaking this trend line, creating this lower low indication. So let's make it official. We created this lower low, drag it up, make it a bit nicer. So we created this lower low. Now we created our first officially lower high. And basically comparing it with this and this, okay? So we broke through the trend line. We had a retest happening, creating a lower high. Now we need to see, so we have the indication, confirmation. Now we need to see a new lower low being created. Like this. This is why this line is important, because we have to break it. And if we look on the left and in the middle, this important line isn't just important, it's a level. How do I, by the way, calculate these levels? Whenever a price has been hitting a certain price a lot and been closing above and below, and then I'm going to zoom in where you see price has been closing over here, price has been closing over here. It has been hitting, hitting, hitting. Zooming on the left, price is having responses over here and over here. Okay. And yes, if you're zooming in on the, this is just a daily level. If you zoom in on the 1 hour, the 4 hour and the 1 hour are the most proven. So if I'm going to dive in the 4 hour for now and look at the levels, we can drag it up depending on this. See on the right side here, 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 okay. That's been hitting a bit more. 1 hour. Looking okay. Just like here, price has been going on it. So we're going to keep the level where it is right now. I'm okay with it where it is right now. Okay. Okay. So the mirrors. Is it the mirrors? I think so. Basically for your Solana trade, short it to the bottom. Nah, kidding. Your best moment to enter the short would have been obviously over here. When you had that response happening. In fact, if you dive in, you see the first response happening on this level, okay? And entering a short on this gap. So if we drag it to the right, you might have been stopped out if you had that stop loss just above. However, always enter the trade when you have confirmation. So here you have this confirmation depending on over here. So you have your confirmation, okay, it has been hit. However, not perfectly yet. I need to see response. First, that first lower low has been made. So this is a normal line. So you had your first response, second response. Now it closed below. Depending on this, you have your first indication. Now you need a confirmation, which is a lower low for continuation down. Having this line still here could have been your entry short. And yes, this is 2.5%. But how big are we looking at it right now? On this level, you have a 1 hour gap over here. Combine it with that level, just a bit below, so it closes that gap. You are looking at a trade from 21%. 22. 20. 22. Okay. And if you look at it a better way, I'm seeing a double top right there. Daily wise, price has to go down. If you are in the short already, don't short it over here, by the way, because it can have that response of that level, obviously. If you are going to short it, very big looking at it, I think it will go towards here. Okay, so you had your stop loss probably over here. A nice big trade happening over here then. And obviously you have to see how it goes, okay? So will it be hitting this gap and then retracing down and then continuation down? Or will we be hitting this gap and then push up and make a higher high? Because if it does and it creates that higher high, you can look for a retest, which means a higher low for continuation back up. But if not, so this is one way and this is the other way. It's a bit messy, I know. Red line. Like so, okay? However, I really think that this is a good target for you to focus on. First mission over here now, create a lower low from here. Otherwise, we're going to have a retracement. Okay? Don't long this because you need to look at from the big picture. We are breaking out of a trend. Whoa. We are breaking out of this trend. We had the retest. Price will continue down. Same with Fartcoin. Just exactly the same, okay? Trend breakout, retest, continuation down. And now it's important for Fartcoin as well to close below the important level. I will add it for you as well over here. So important is to make this important needs to close below. I am going to look at Jasmy real quick because I'm running out of time. Yeah, price will go up. No. Let's zoom in. Zoom in. What is happening here? Holy moly. Okay. Remove. Remove. See over here, by the way, how that wick nicely closed that, nicely filled that gap. And here as well. Could have been. This was a nice long position there. Great stream as usual, younger bro. Thanks, man. Jasmy had some weird trend lines happening, okay? Zoomed out. We have this big trend line broken. with it being broken, it closed this gap with a wick. We are keeping this line open. Okay. Depending on this gap over here, combine that with the level, which is why I didn't made that extra line. Combine that with the level, created that higher high over here. It had a retest where these 2 points created a trend line. See, if I'm just going to drag these points to each other and only look at these 2 points, then you have that new trend line happening where eventually it nicely hit it, even got filled by a wick, this gap on the daily, and eventually nice push up long, nice push up long towards the original target, which is this gap. Okay. From there, we didn't close above, so this was an important moment. However, this is a big mess over here, so it literally had to close above here somewhere. But based on this is looking very nicely, okay? It created that new trend line because obviously we had that push up. Yes, we need that retest over here to go back up again. And then we might be making that higher high on this important level here. Okay, so this area is important, and as you can see, the same area, if I'm just going to drag it along for now, important. Okay, so it has a history, so this will be a hard level to push through, which is why it didn't push through over here, but it needs that retest. It needs to get a lot of fuel before it can continue back up. Just like a rocket ship, okay? It won't always continue to push forward. Sometimes it has to land, refuel, continue up. Sui, you coming? I have 3 minutes left for my stream and you're coming with Sui? Okay, I'm just going to do it quickly then. For Jasmine, I still think, fuck this trend line. A new trend line has been made because it continued down. So trend line, there, follow the trend. Jasmine, continue down, hitting one of this level, either this one to push through, or this one and then push through. If this happens, very important, okay? So, are we going to close above, over here? Possibly retracement going up. Are we not? And are we going to close below? So I'll just drag this along. Important as well. Doesn't mean you're going to enter here, Dave. Wait for your confirmation. So make sure it closes above. Get a retrace, then push up. You could either wait for the retest and then push. Okay? Because, just like always, this is a high now. Price has to push through, make a higher high, retest, continuation up. So either enter here, or wait until you have good confirmation over here. If we close above, possibly retracement going up. If we close below, next target will be there. Okay? This was Jasmine real quick. We have Sui. I've been streaming Sui for a while now. I've been monitoring it. I told you guys to short it. I told you to short it. Short it. Because price is continuing going down. It's a downtrend. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. And now, another lower low. What happened? It's okay. So this was an important member. Nice. Important level. It closed below. big time. What are we doing now? We broke the trend line as well. Okay, just like other coins, just like TIA, no data left. There's no much data. We only have we only have this level being created from over here. Some retracements over here in this week. Okay, that was this level all about. We had a nice response on that level. So this is just an order block moment. A possible retracement that there is a level, I mean a gap over here on the hourly. There is. I think I'm gonna have to retire myself and become a market maker. It didn't fully hit that 1 hour gap though. It didn't hit that fully. But it did went on the wicks over here. Okay, interesting. I did short it and closed way too early. I mean, obviously you took profits, okay? So you did win, I hope. You did win some money with it. This is daily gap. Let's remove, come back. So we have this new daily gap being created. We have another one over there. We have that all-time high over here. All-time high on the right. There we go. And you have the 1 day gap. So based on this, just on the gaps looking, okay? So we might have a big dump. It might have a big dump. And it broke this, okay? And it said that we don't have it said that we don't have more data over here on SUI. That's really annoying. Because right now, this is a gray area. Don't enter your long, don't enter your shorts. Because shorting it from here, it could have a good bounce from this level again and then go up. Okay? What is possible right now is this was important. It broke through, it made that lower low. We have this gap over here where you could enter a short because it broke the trend line over here. However, that started over here. So what could happen is multiple ways, okay? So we had that push down, hit that, and then continuation down. Path number 1. Just going to make it a bit nicer, okay? Crap. Path number 2. I fucked that down. Somewhere over here, I guess. Let's move it a bit. So these are 3 possibilities. So what you could do, yes, you could enter shorts here, but do it with managing your risk. Okay, and what do I mean with manage your risk? If you're going short, let's say we are going short over here. This is the price where price hits that mark, gets the reversal, goes down, closing that lower, making that lower low. You could reduce your risk just above the previous high, so it will retest that gap, and you need to make sure to give it a bit more space to make sure it creates that lower high. From there you can see continuation down, and then you can do the same and same and same. Okay, make sure that whenever it's in the green, so even this is already risky, okay? This is already risky. However, make sure that whenever you're doing it in a way like here, especially on SUI, SUI works with wicks. You see the wicks. Look at how many wicks we have in here, okay? Keep that in mind on each coin. Each coin acts differently. Look how many wicks we are having here. Same for here. Same for here, same for here, same for here, same for here. Be careful on coins like this. Make sure get stopped out over here in the green is much safer than waiting it to hit your stop loss again. Okay, so if I'm just going to retrace and rebuild this shit, this scenario. So we have this, we have our stop loss there, we have the retracement down, we go short, price comes here. If you are not reducing your risk after it creating that lower low based on here, and then obviously your previous, let's say your previous low was here, okay, something like this, and you aren't going to reduce your risk over here. First of all, if it doesn't, I'm just going to make this a very fine painting. This is your trend going. Okay. It hits, makes a higher low still, and then it creates your indication. That's a lower high, and your confirmation. It's a lower low. Now we need to see a lower high again, and a new lower low. This is how you trade. This is how you need to enter and see how the market structure works. You get higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Indication. Hey, we got a first lower high. Confirmation. We have a first lower low. We have a trend reversal. Okay. So from here, we need to look, okay, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, until it creates a higher high and a lower, higher low. This is simple market structure. This is how it works. And if you can't look at it this way, then be careful trading at all. Okay? This is so basic and very easy. If you see it creating a change of character, you need to be able to see that change of character, okay? So you got your first different pattern. Hey, we are not making a new higher high. What's going on? Okay? And we had that same situation with Bitcoin on the daily. Let's hide it all. Okay? Everything, hide it. Levels, get gone. Gaps, get gone. Okay? Just over here. Give me a better way. We have been creating higher highs. Higher highs, higher highs. Higher lows, higher high. Higher low, higher high. Now we have a higher high and a lower high. Indication. Confirmation. We got a lower low, lower high, lower low. So this was your uptrend. Here you got your indication, confirmation. From here, it still made that higher high, lower high, sorry. And then it created a higher low. Indication, confirmation. It's that simple. And this is based on the daily, and you can make loads of money trading this way and then trade with the trend, okay? If you know that price is going to do this, yes, you can enter a long whenever something happens over here towards a new high. And then yes, you could see some sort of a gap happening over here, for example, maybe zoomed in on an hour. You can trade along. And the best scenario to trade along a trend line, trade along a upward or downward trend, is to wait until you have confirmation. Hey, we have a gap closed. Perfect long. It's not that difficult. And yes, it's a big wick, I know. But you know what I mean, right? the best way to enter along the trend is to enter with the confirmation. Indication, confirmation, continuation up. And it's, for me, it's pretty basic because I'm just reading it. You need to think of it of a game, okay? Not just like an easy buy sell. It's a game that you need to play along. It's just like driving a bike. It's just like driving a car and cycling a bike. First, it is hard. Which coin were we looking at? Silly. First, it is hard, and eventually it will become easier, okay? Just like how I'm doing the TAs. They're always going to be the same. Where I'm always going to look, okay, are we making higher highs? Are we making lower lows? That kind of way. And just over here, let's remove. It happened just over here where it created. It even happened over here, okay? So you have your change of character, a lower low. No, I'm joking. Sorry, I'm lying now. Higher high, lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then you had that indication. So you have your indication that you are in a lower high now. Price could make a lower low depending on this, which it did. And then it did as well a lower high, and it made another lower low. Okay, and this is just on the daily. And if you see something like this happening, like, get lost. If you see this happening, where you have your indication, hey, we have closed 3 days below, and we didn't create a new higher high in like a week, because this is like a week, we could have that indication confirmation. The price is in a reversal. Okay, so entering on a long over here is risky because we are in a downtrend. Okay, trade with the trend because the trend is your friend. Beam, bada, boom. Okay, so I am going to stop the trade. Sorry, not the trade. I am going to close the stream over here because I'm already 15 minutes past my past my stream time. I wish to do it 1.5 hours each time, and it's been a bit longer now. So for Bitcoin now, are we going to close below, or are we going to find balance, close today's candle over here for push up and then down? Because still on the 3 days, we need price to come down, to fuel up, and then go sky high again. That's what we are looking for. You're welcome, Virtus. Feel free to join the Discord. It's all for free. Feel free to ask any coins. And I will try and do my best to help you guys. Like I said before, June 25, that's the date until my TAs will be still for free. And then I will see how it goes. Short, small notice, that's the day of my birthday. I will not go streaming that day. Just a heads up. So we will see how things go along. But are we going to create that slower low and to create this double top pattern? Dave, you are now unsummoned. Kidding. Just one more time. entering with the link below, you can join the community and you can earn up to $2,400. 400 by just signing up and depositing 2,000 USDT. With that, you will also get VIP 2 for a month, which means less fees. If you are going to trade and you create volume, you can earn up to 2,000 USDT dollars. That's with the link below. If you don't have an account with BitUnix yet, there's also a link below for that. Okay. Until then, this campaign is happening towards 11 of July, and obviously after that, make sure to join the community because more of these campaigns will be happening in the future. Okay, 100%. Especially if we are going to grow. I'm even seeing that we had 12 members watching the stream a minute ago. Now we are sitting at 9. We are improving because 2 months ago or 1 month ago we were just having 2. I really like to do this for you guys. Make sure to subscribe, like, and join the Discord. It's all for free, like I said before. I will just share this real quickly with you guys as well. Just a quick heads up. So whenever you join, you have the free sections over here. Obviously, link yourself to this so you can see all my streams happening. You have market updates. We have handouts which you can use. We have referral links. We have the task centers as well, where you can earn up to packages for yourself. So like on BitUnix, you have tasks to earn even more money. Then we have the paid section, and we have my section, which is totally free. Here we trade along together, as you can see. Big shout out to Thomas and Furtus and Dave as well. We had some nice trades happening already, as you can see. Okay. I'm sharing my Bitcoin updates. Here I'm looking at the downside for this for weeks now. Same for Ethereum, where we had this messy situation. We are still over here now. And I'm also sharing altcoins. Okay. So this was Ripple. Eventually it made that higher high, I think. Or it just closed over here. Not sure anymore. However, I will update this soon as I have time for it. This is Fartcoin, by the way. Still going down, like I said. Okay. Nice. Obviously, we have the masterclass happening now as well. More about that later, okay? For now, make sure to follow the Discord. It's all for free. And if not, your loss. Okay? So I'm going to end the stream here. I'm going to end it with my big face and let's show some. No, I'm not going to end it with my big face. Just with the small one. Alright, make sure to check the links below, make your account, and if you already have an account, it's very easy to make a new one. Okay. For now, have a good night. It is 9:50 p.m. I am done for today. I am sweating. It's 30.6 degrees Celsius. Leave me alone, okay? It's very hot. I'm gonna take a shower and then head towards bed. Okay. Have a good one, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.